What's up, gamers? Barnes here, and this video is going to be show and tell about maps, and I'm just going to show you some of the maps I've made for my campaigns. I only have two, I think, really, and tell you how I made them and a little bit about them, I guess. This first map here is the world map of the Alcogwin, and this particular campaign I played in, like, I don't know, 2005, 4 maybe, to like 2007 or something, 2008 maybe, yeah, I think 2008. And when I wrote the idea for the campaign, when I wrote the story for the campaign, I wrote it with Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition rules in mind, but I actually didn't end up playing it until Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. So this is called the Alcogwin, and I originally drew it on tracing paper, and you know, basically this was all the PC lands for the most part. This was the main continent of the Alcogwin, and it was a dual world, and basically, you know, split down the line was good aligned things were up north, and bad aligned things were down south. And the middle was kind of neutral. And the idea is that dragons had inherited these lands, and humanoids took them from dragons, and you know, so if you're out killing dragons, and that dragon happens to be good, because dragons ate people in this particular world, you know, you're evil. I guess that was my idea behind it. But the idea behind this world is that neutrality was the way to really go, to try to get along with everybody. But yeah, like I said, I drew it on tracing paper, and I actually took maps, real world maps, and I put them underneath it, and I would steal little parts here and there. You might notice some contours on the shorelines that, you know, are reminiscent of real world shorelines, because I traced them and I altered them slightly. So like here you can kind of see this was like South America. I don't know if my players already picked up on that, but this is Argentina right here. I kind of still see that. Chile. So yeah, I would just take the real world map, and I would take a little piece off, and you know, there were different sized maps and from atlases and such, and to different scales, and I would piece them together. So like I think here this is like an altered Turkey, I believe, and then I believe I did it again right here. Yeah, you know, and then out here I had this, I was trying to divide. I was still like thinking like elven lands and dwarf lands type of mentality, and dead sands, desert outlands. Now this is a great rift. This is where the continental rift. Now this map is actually supposed to be a living god. The plane was. It was a disc world. There was no north and south, and it was supposed to be a living god. It was a child of two other gods, and it was a neutral god, a god of nature. But it wasn't conscious yet, and so the characters were supposed to discover the ancient missing god and bring it to consciousness. This is where man started, the Orman Islands, Sorcerer's Island out there, and that's really where I wanted the map to stop. I didn't want to involve monster lands or anything like that. This was just purely PC lands, you know, player character lands, player character races, I guess I should say. And there was a duality thing. I was looking for like a split Europe type deal, and eventually that map just wasn't going to cut it, so I needed to come up with another one, and so I had to reverse engineer it, and I actually had to trace this from tracing paper. And then I made photocopies of it, and I had to piece together the photocopies, and this would be the city of Alcogwin here, which was an old elven city, and that's where the elves thought the center of the disk was. They were wrong, but that's what they thought. And so these would show miles. I believe each segment is 500 miles. And the way you would tell direction, because there's no north, south, east, or west, is you would tell how far and what degree you were from Alcor. So, you know, at 247.5 degrees at 1,000 miles from Alcor, or whatever that is, 1,500 miles from Alcor. That's where this point would be. So that's how you would tell direction in this world on a disk, because there really is no north, south. There's no poles on a disk. There's a center point, and you know, there's an edge, but that's that. So I started with bits because we were expanding off of this map, and I needed something a little bit more precise. So I just kind of made this quick. And made photocopies, and that way I can manipulate. Once you have photocopies of it, you can manipulate the size, you know, or if you get it scanned into a computer. So then I gotta move this mirror here. Look, let me get a selfie. Hey, man. So then I needed a larger map, really. And so this map, you can see like this is one of the photocopies. It's smaller, shrunk down. And it's that over there, just shrunk down. This one doesn't have the lines in it. It's on graph paper. I don't know why I didn't have the lines in it. That's a good question marks. But yeah, this is the outlands, and again, this was supposed to be like the chin. We were on like the chin of the planet, and, you know, kind of like. Again, there was an earthquake here, and kind of makes a mouth, I guess you could say. And then there was two seas where the eyes would be, the socket sea and the pupil sea or whatever. I can't remember. But and this is kind of like where monsters were, and where they last battled the dragons, and you know, they trapped the dragons at the end of their earth, and they escaped. And so that was. We needed it to adventure the Outlands, because I needed them to fight monsters. I didn't just want political intrigue. And so then this is the other way. This is the Centrant, the continent of Centrant. And there's a heart in the middle, because this is the, you know, it's the center of the planet. This is the big point. This is the heart of the creature is. And in the story, the two major gods had a clash of the hearts. They're the ones that gave birth to this planet. And they fought here. The battle started here. So this is Centrant, and Centrant was like basically uncharted by humans and elves and stuff. And it was like a Wild West for the dragons. And actually, I kind of made a dragon head here. At least I was thinking that in mind. And this one was a little bit freer. You know, I didn't actually. I just did it freehand. I didn't really use any. I didn't really use any references. You know, you can kind of see a rib cage, I guess, here. And yeah, again, this is the center points. This is kind of like where the planes collide, because this essence of this planet escaped from Mechanus during its collapse in another campaign. So it's a continuation of the campaign. I could kind of link them in some way or another. All my campaigns to one another. They all kind of take place in the same world, sort of. Yeah, so that's the Alcor, and that's how I did it. So then we'll go to the new map, which I've been calling the Underboden. I think this might be one of my players. He can kind of come in and check him out for a second. Yeah, there's Panky. He's the dude that was in the armor on Facebook. What's up, Panky? I'm just doing a quick show and tell. He's one of my players, actually. So this is the world we're going to be playing in this time. And
you're actually going to tell people about this? That's pretty faux pas.
Why? I'm just telling them how I did the maps. And so this map is, right now, so far I've been calling it the Underboden. And our campaign is going to be set up in this area, in the Bad Akor Islands. And this is the country of Hamelin, Primish, Verch, Emor, Galace, Maladont, Sondre, Fethreg.